This is the last episode of the series, and I have to apologize for posting it this late, but I have been struck with something that in America people call 12th grade, and that here in Italy we call quarta liceo. But the video is finally up, so today I will reveal the end of the push. Today I will tell you about the last 2 days of the previous season, which is now more than 2 weeks ago. On day 13, the first thing that we did was completing Charlie, and it didn't take much, as Kawa and Ferrix were carrying from the start. So I picked Kenji, that I had still not pushed at all. In only 20 minutes, we completed him to 1080. Ferrix and Kawa were playing well, and this was our only chance of making yet 400 trophies that evening. We really had to keep such a pace, so we went for Cordelius, a strong pick, only a little skilled. Ferrix was playing Shade and Kawa is almost a BB main, so you can expect how fast this went. Well, not really, because Ferrix left at 1050, and today I don't even remember why he left. But Jack was ready to substitute him, and so the push kept going. And not much time later, we completed Cord as well. So I decided to go for Daryl, as the map was good for him, and because we had not pushed him yet. Jack picked Lumi at some point, as Rico was not performing so well. So 1 hour and 40 minutes into the push, we got Daryl in the bag, but still many trophies were left to 400 trophies. Griff was my next target, as his super and his hypercharge are utterly broken. But there was a major problem. After 20 minutes, our time reached 2 hours. And here is where I had to make a decision. I could have either kept pushing, breaking the rule of playing only 2 hours a day. Or I could have stopped at 1064, at 89,500, and try to make the last 500 trophies on the last day. I will give you a sec to guess what I did. So my decision was to keep going, as I knew that the day later I would have never been able to make 500 trophies. And so we kept going with the goal of getting 100 more trophies. 5 minutes later we completed Griff, and I was confident that getting the last remaining trophies was not going to be such a nightmare. And instead, after playing Pearl for 20 minutes, I decided to go for Amber, which eventually, after 25 minutes, we got to 1080. And at the same time, we hit 89,600 trophies. At this point, after playing for roughly 2 hours and 50 minutes, we completed the push for the day. Alright, so here we go with the final day. Only 400 trophies remain, and the first pick I went for is Larry and Lori. Yeah, not the best 40 minutes of my life, I have to say. Baz was my next choice, as Kawa has been carrying a lot with him. Today, by the way, we started playing with Lambo, a player from the chat, and with their help and the good pick, Baz was done. At this point, I stopped playing Brawlers at 1000 trophies, and instead I picked Shade that we had already brought to 1080 in the previous days, with the goal of getting him to 1100. The reason for this choice is pretty simple. Since we were the last day, and since I was left with no Meta Brawlers to push, I decided to take advantage of the ones that I had already pushed, to get those remaining trophies. Shade was done shortly after, and so I went for Kenji, another Meta Brawler, to make my life a little bit easier. But this time, we didn't get any trophies, and instead I dropped him to 1050. So I decided to go for Melody, desperately trying to rescue any possible trophy, and here's where we got stuck. For several minutes we didn't find a way forward, and eventually we crossed the 2 hour mark, but almost 300 trophies was still left before reaching 90k. So on paper, we failed right there. But I was not ready to give up just yet, and so after a huge struggle, and after getting Melody to 1040, I went for Gus. Cow and Jack were the heroes of that night, as they helped me a lot, but after another while, Jack left, and Felix took his place into the push. We really tried everything that came out of our minds. Felix went for Buds, then for Mo, and eventually I switched for Otis, completing Gus, but it was a disaster. In short, time was going by and we were not. At some point, Kawa had to go, as it was 11 PM for everyone, and we were all tired. Not many minutes later, Ferrix had to leave. And once again, I was left alone, so I decided to interrupt the streaming, hoping to full focus on my goal. So I started playing with randoms, and when all hope was lost, this man invited me. Turns out he also had to get a trophy record achievement, and so we kept pushing with him, but I have to say that we had crossed the 4 hour mark at this point. Finally things started to go much better, as we completed Otis to 1100, Draco to 1100, Buzz to 199, and we reached 89,800 trophies. But we were still not going fast enough. So Ale decided to go for Knockout, to exploit the Pocho Dog and Jackie comp. After finding a dog, we immediately started grinding trophy after trophy, win after win, and without even realizing it, we got to 1200 trophies with Jackie, for a total of 89,900 trophies. Things kept going well, and at 89,978 trophies, the dog said that he had to go. This moment for me was painful, because after grabbing another dog, things started to roll off. Eventually I played dog, but soon after I realized I had a big skill issue, so I quickly went back to Jackie. But we got stuck. We couldn't keep going and we were not dropping, so we switched back to Bravo. And then we started dropping. It was clear that almost 6 hours of non-stop pushing had brought me to being hopeless once again. To make things worse, Ala left, leaving me for yet another time, all alone, at 3 AM in the morning. 80 trophies were left, and if I wanted to get to 90k, I should have made it alone. So I picked Stu and started pushing in Bravo, with maximum concentration. But after losing 20 trophies, I decided to pull off a last stand before giving up. The only and last card that I had left to play. None other than my main brawler, or better, my very first main brawler, Leon. Yes, because back in the day I had been a main Leon, and now he represented my last chance to achieve my goal, and so the final push began. Leon was also my very first rank 30 a lot of time ago, and so I knew he could not betray me. I have carried so many randoms with this brawler, in any game mode and any map, so if I had a chance, it was surely Leon. After roughly half an hour, I got to 1080 trophies with him, and only 20 trophies were left before getting to 90k. And so I didn't give up, kept going and going and going. And after 30 minutes, I did a move. I was getting more and more frustrated because I was literally going back and forth at one game away from 90k and from 1100 trophies with Leon. 1096, 1088, and again and again and again, for 30 goddamn minutes. And while trying and trying, I thought back at the moment when I was playing with Ale and Zeus, that dog, and I thought about how close we got to my goal before he left. And that made me angry, because if only I had stayed for just 3 more games, I would have probably already be sleeping, knowing I had made it. But no, bro had to go, and now I was struggling to achieve it by myself. After a whole hour, playing Leon, carrying randoms, and after 30 minutes going back and forth from 1088 to 1096, this happened. This journey, guys, lasted for a long time. 21 days is not a short period of time. 7 hours in a row on a game during an hour without stopping is painful. I want to leave you today telling you that in my next video, whenever it comes out, I hope really soon, I will make an important announcement that will impact the entire channel.
And as always, thanks for watching.